And hello again and welcome to the Daily Templar Report with me, your guest presenter, Jim Dowson. How are yous all, one and all? Good to see yous again. I loved to see you yesterday. And I should have explained why I had my Highland gear on, because I promised you guys on the 25th of January that I was going to wear it. Mr. Griffin was baiting me. And I ended up taking the well then, so I didn't wear it. So Burns night, Rabbi Burns night. Just in case you were wondering, I forgot to mention that yesterday. But I don't like letting people down, so that's why I had it on yesterday. No other reason. I hadn't went completely mad. Well, possibly. But there you go. I promised it, and Burns night, you got it. Now, we've got a special guest on today, Mr. Griffin, who stood in and done very well during my sojourn in the land of craziness and out of my skull. Not been well. I'd like to thank Mr. Griffin very much. Mr. Griffin, thank you ever so much for standing in for us. Done a great job. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, brother. You're very welcome.
Good man yourself.
Good to see you.
No bad for an Englishman. Right, we'll get Mr. Griffin on in a wee minute. Let's have a wee bit of the scripture. And if I cough and whatnot, do forgive me. Right, we're in the Proverbs. You know I like the Proverbs, you know that. And I know you like about the Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 14. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. I just paint such a great picture. Some lazy so-and-so just tossing about in bed, just like a door on its hinges. Listen, see the Proverbs. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to understand it. It's just nice, simple, everyday advice from God. And you're not going to get better than that. And we know the Lord will add his blessing to this, the public reading of his own infallible, inerrant, and inspired word. God bless you all. Okay. Oh, and God bless Philip Milne. I seen that come through there later on, just a wee while ago there, Philip, for the for the chapter house out there. God bless you. Top man. Appreciate it. Excellent. Good stuff. And thank you everybody else over the last 24 hours who's been throwing some money in to the building project. It really is a great source of encouragement. God bless each and every one of you. Right, without further ado, I want to bring Mr. Griffin in and see what he's been up to. Because you've heard them the last 2 weeks. I've heard nothing. I've just heard Orthodox chanting. Did you? I know you like the Orthodox, Mr. Griffin. What do you think of your wee Sammy's choice of beautiful music?
Very, very good, Jim. Yeah, really, really impressed with the lad. Excellent. I can imagine driving you absolutely mad though, given deep Protestant roots.
It's crazy. That's such a weird mixture, you know, Calvinists, Orthodox, Catholics, I don't know, everyone's went wild. But it's all good. Right, Mr. Griffin, what have you got for us today, sir?
Well, I've just got a couple of things, Jim. First of all, I just a few minutes before we came on, got an email from LifeSite News.
Now, I know them.
Yeah, they're a really good operation in the USA, run by a fellow, he's a half African chap, I think, or quarter African chap, Henry Weston. They do fantastic work on the pro-life side, and also on the the broader, looking at things from a really solid Christian perspective. They are spot on, really worth looking at. But they've obviously built a huge following on YouTube over the years, and yesterday they had 300,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, and today they don't have any because it's gone completely. Bang, zapped. So apparently, they've lost, or rather the public have now lost all their brilliant videos. Apparently they had the sense to have had them backed up, so they're there. But they're only now present on Rumble, and so they've lost 300,000 subscribers. They're reduced to a minor platform called Rumble. I was just looking at that. Some of their recent videos now are getting about 150 viewers.
Wow.
Catastrophic drop. Really, really vicious. I mean, these people self-evidently are not, right-wing.
No, they're very mild. They're very mild, very respectable, salt of the earth type of people. That's shocking.
Really outrageous. But, of course, we saw it coming. And I guess the fact they're on Rumble shows at least they saw it coming to a degree. Yeah. But seeing it coming, as you know, doesn't help in a way when you lose access to 300,000 people. And the cost in terms of influence, the cost in terms of revenue for them, that drop is absolutely massive, as indeed it's intended to be, because this is part of a long-running war against every single one of us.
Well, I mean, look, a few years ago, we had a massive, the big place up in the middle of Budapest. We had a huge headquarters, one of the biggest headquarters I've ever seen any group having. And we had a headquarters, a really nice place as well in Belgrade, and we had to curtail a lot of them and cut back because we were victims of the same shenanigans. They went for us and took us off financially. But, you know, we're the Templars, so we're a wee bit more robust than most people. But it had a massive effect on us. You know, there was about 2-3 years of us, you know, really having a hard time. And it wasn't for the generosity and loyalty of Templar folk, because our folk are solid, rock solid. You know, they really killed us. But this is what they're at. And they're taking down people now who are, I would describe as part of the fabric of a normal democratic and decent society. Lifesite News are not wacko, swivel-eyed lunatics. They're people with a genuine political opinion that may not suit other people, but you know what is going on. I mean, this really is an all-out assault now on anybody who will not toe the extremist left-wing liberal agenda.
Yeah. I think it'll backfire on them in due course. I've been working, Jim, at present on one of the last chapters of the new book, the Great Reset book, and I've been looking at BitTorrent technology, Bitcoin and all the rest of it, and this whole idea of a decentralized internet. Absolutely fascinating. And the technology is already out there for every patriot, Christian, conservative in the entire world simply to migrate away from their internet system and to have our own. It'll take time, and obviously initially it'll only be the hardcore people who'll be there, so they will have managed to cut us off from the general public. But the only reason you really needed to be in touch with all the general public is if you want to get their votes. So when we were campaigning in 2016 for Brexit and Trump, we needed to reach the general public. But for organisations, whether it's the Templars or Lifesite News or anybody else, just to survive and to interact with people who think like us, you don't need to get the general public. You need to get the radicalised, woken up. I don't mean woke. I mean woken up members of the general public. And the harder these left liberals push and crush down on people like us and Lifesite News, the quicker will come the tipping point when all of a sudden, basically, everyone who really counts, everyone you need to reach to build an organisation and get things done, will be on an alternative system, the whole caboodle, not just something like Purged, like this, not just being able to talk to each other, but being able to exchange money, you know, sell things and all the rest of it. We'll all be on something completely different.
Of course.
And then they will have a real problem.
Oh, listen, I mean, you know, I'm, you know me, I'm a old-fashioned Calvinist, free market capitalist, small government. Yeah, I'm an American really at heart. They cannot compete with us. Okay, they've got the trillions and the billions at the moment, but they ain't going to keep us down. We built America. We built Britain. We built Europe. We built the modern world. They ain't going to keep us down. Are they kidding? Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. Are you kidding me on here? They're a flash in the pan. They will never keep down the indomitable spirit of the people. And then you throw into the mix that we are empowered by Christ Jesus and God. These people don't know what they're dealing with. But it's going to be rough, and it's going to separate the boys from the men, which is a good thing because there's too many half-wits running about thinking they're right-wing or they're conservatives. So our people sometimes need to grow up a wee bit. So there's a big learning curve here for everybody, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Sometimes we need a wee reset personally, you know what I mean? And see what really is of value. What really is of value. What are we trying to achieve here? Are we trying to achieve some kind of political revolution? I'm not and never have been. I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only, to promote the kingdom of God on earth. That's it. That's it. People can have political parties all they want. They can do what they want. They can go for 25,000 sexual orientations. I don't care what they do. What we have to do is we have to push righteousness, and we have to push God, and we have to push a true faith. And when that happens, everything will fall into place. We're putting the cart before the horse the last 40 years, and it ain't worked. It ain't worked.
Yep, indeed so. Now, also looking at this, the Great Reset business, I've been looking at Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and all the rest of it. And when I started this, I really felt, you know, this is really quite depressing because there's this monstrous thing, and they've got the whole world locked down and this enormous power they've got. The more I've looked, Jim, the more I think it's really one giant bluff. I think they're not primarily motivated by a desire, a feeling they can grab us and strangle us and loot us and all the rest of it. Yes, they're doing that, but I think what's really motivating them is precisely the fact that this new blockchain technology is a really key factor of it. It makes their banking system irrelevant. The whole of the elite of the entire world, particularly the industrial world, has been absolutely tied up for the last 300 years or so with this fiat money created out of thin air, and it's giving them enormous power. And blockchain technology, Bitcoin, etc., that's just eliminated that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's stunning. Their power is hanging by a thread, and it's not just creation of a different form of money. It's a completely different way of working the world, which is totally decentralized. If you're using dollars or sterling and you're using banks, you are absolutely forced to use a system whereby they can check how much you're earning, how much you're making, how much you're paying, and they can tax you on it. And this new system means that individuals anywhere in the world can exchange money, can buy and sell, and there is no trace of it except between them.
Yep.
And if they can't monitor what we're earning, what we're spending, they can't tax us.
Absolutely.
So if they can't tax us, and if they can no longer create the only money that we can use, because we've got better alternatives that don't rot because of inflation, which is a hidden tax which they impose on all of us, their power simply evaporates. Yep. And I found, Jim, I looked through the European Union's, went into things I can still see, and I got a position paper they put out 3 years ago to all members of the European Parliament.
Let me just bear with you there. We're just going to go over, we're just going to transition over to pods, because you can't even talk about this here. So we're going over to pods, folks, okay? Are you all ready? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're over it.